So hey everyone, welcome back to Millie Marotta's Lion. I know I've been doing this a lot lately, but it's kind of been what I've been in the mood for, and also what's been easier for my ankle without having to swap and change things constantly. So I've just kind of been working on this. I'm going to aim to do some videos of the other parts from other videos soon, but I just thought I would continue a little bit with the bit of the mane on this part, and then after that with either would do more parts till this is finished, or would just go on to the others. I'm kind of wanting to work at finishing some images currently, so what I may do is just end up just doing these parts till the others. I know the last couple of parts have been a bit monotonous, just colouring in the Tuscan Red and then just black and that was basically it. But it's going to be a little more exciting now that we're working on the rest of the mane and that. But I know I was rotating between videos, but I'm sort of thinking now, unless I particularly feel in the mood for doing a different type of video, I may try and finish one of the pieces at a time. We'll just see how we go with it. I may swap to another piece soon. But yeah, I'll do the best I can anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so I hope you'll enjoy this, and yeah. So we're going to start in here with our Prismacolor Premier Sepia PC948, and we're going to we're still following our light sources, which is coming from this direction down. So yeah, I'll just say pretty much I've decided, just whilst I'm in the mood for certain pieces, I'm going to continue that piece and then I'll move on to other pieces I feel like it, and do that till I feel like swapping to another piece, because I tend to do that, and I haven't been doing that because I've been feeling I have to keep rotating it, and it's like I don't want to stop on this piece yet. So that's kind of how I'm going to do it. I'll just rotate when I feel like doing a bit of something different and keep swapping between images that way. So I was going to go one at a time, but I'm just going to do bit at a time. The other pieces are still going to happen. It's just, yeah, I just really want to focus on each piece while I feel like it, rather than feeling like I have to swap. And I'm just going to quickly turn the volume down on the music in the background, so I'll be back. But I've kind of been thinking better to keep going on what I feel like at the time, rather than swapping when I might not feel like swapping yet, because at least that way I can completely enjoy what I'm doing, rather than stressing about wanting to do that piece but not really being in the mood for the piece I'm doing, which usually isn't the case, but I still sometimes like to spend just a bit of time just working consistently on one image. So yeah, I'm sure you understand anyway. But yeah, as I was saying, we're going to bring our shadows down this way, and we're going to bring in our Sepia PC948. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm just working out exactly where to start, because there's so many different sort of styles of leaves in this mane, so they're all going to be slightly different, and I'm going to be starting somewhere around this section. I'm just trying to make sure you can see it all in the camera, and I'm thinking I might look at starting just down here underneath the chin with our sepia, because whilst the point's quite sharp, it makes it easier to sort of do things, I guess. And we're just going to start in the tip of the leaf with our sepia, and then do our light shades up the top, because of where our light source is sort of coming from. We sort of want to bring the sepia down to the bottom areas here, and just a little bit up into that back of the leaf up here, just to, shall we say, still keep a bit of that shadow there in the back of the leaf. and trying to leave enough, although some of these leaves will be so small there won't be much space for the other colours, so just do the best you can, because some of those really teeny spots won't have much colour tone areas in them. And over this side it's going to be slightly different because of the fact that the back of the leaf is kind of where the sepia would go, so we're going to bring the back of the leaf is where the shadows would be, so we're going to actually bring that along this edge closest to the stem, shall we say. And I think I'm doing a little much in the shadows there with the sepia, because we need to bring in our other colours, and it's taken up a fair amount of the leaf. I did put in an order today too for some replacement pencils like my Mineral Orange and Tuscan Red and that too, and my black. But yeah, try not to get too much of the shadow areas over the leaf like I've done. Like, we can still work it in, but it does make it a little more difficult. And for this spine of the leaf, I'm actually going to bring our sepia down a bit into it. This is going to possibly blend quite closely into the Tuscan Red, so I'm thinking what I'm going to do with the leaf is actually, and this is just skipping a step to do the stem bit, but instead of doing the Tuscan Red in that spot, we're going to bring in our burnt ochre PC943. We're going to bring that in basically over our sepia just for that leaf stem, because we don't want it just blending into the Tuscan Red. We do want it to at least have a bit of its own definition like the pattern as it's meant to. And that's all we're going to do for that little bit there. And so I'm just going to do a couple of the other leaves that are right next to it that are the same as this one, so that you can sort of see it being done again. I'm just remembering a little bit of blending shadows as well. Our light source is sort of coming down that way, and then here we're going to bring it along here, but we're not going to bring it quite all the way up to the top with this upper leaf, just because of the fact that kind of, well, maybe it would have a shadow all the way up to it because of the fact that the chin is kind of there in the way. So we're just basically tracing little outlines along these, trying not to cover the whole leaf with the sepia tone when we do our lighter shade to allow easier blending. And then the same thing here for these are the leaves. So I'm just tossing up whether I should do all of these types of leaves at once or whether I should do them at different times, but I think I'm just going to work slowly around the face and fill it all in a bit at a time rather than just doing one thing at a time. And then for this side, we're bringing it just on the underneath bit, trying not to fill in too much of the leaf when we do our light blending area. Which I'm probably filling up slightly too much, but I'm not sure. Because I still want to try and do as many tones as up in some of these, but it may only fit 3 tones in some of these leaves. And other leaves it may fit a lot more tones. I guess we'll work it out as we go. And I forgot to do our light area up on this one. So yeah, basically I'm just gonna do the images as I feel like each part. So you might have multiple parts of Millie Marotta's line, then there might be multiple parts of Millie Little Oberg's fairy tales, and I'm just gonna do each bit as I kind of feel like it and work it in that way, because it doesn't make sense trying to colour something that you don't feel like doing at the time. And then with these stems, I almost forgot, we're just going to do the sepia down here, trying to leave some gap areas if you can for where the light's coming down on that side. But if you've gone over some of the areas like I have, it's going to be hard, and also just blending in the areas can be kind of make it complex, because we're not, I started to do a light shade then without realising it, and I did. Then we're coming in again with our burnt ochre and just colouring over those areas. So I might even do some slightly different tones with these little leaf bits, I'm not sure. But I just want to come back in, there's one more spot, and I almost drew the pencil onto the ground by accident. But just here. This one's going to be slightly different just because of where the light source is sitting. I think, anyway, I'm just working out. Oh, no, it'll be roughly the same. Doesn't matter. And doing our little light areas, which I almost left out again. And here we're going to do it at a very tippy area here, and same for these ones, and just making sure we got a little bit of our blending sort of area. This one comes up a little bit in our light area, and then down here we've got our little side going down with our sepia, and then it's our burnt ochre on that stem again. And I think what I'm actually going to do here is I'm actually going to change the colour, because these ones aren't going to fit in the full colour, but I don't want them too close to the back shadowy sort of areas for these ones. So what I'm going to actually do is, you know how I did the burnt ochre on the stem then? I'm going to actually bring that into the leaf next and leave it to skip the Tuscan Red. So we're going to bring our burnt ochre PC943, and we're going to bring that over these colour areas. And we also want to leave some sort of light areas, because we're probably going to bring in our sand or something in those spots. Or sand. Yeah, I think sand might be nice in those spots, but we'll work it out when we get there. We want to do our little light shadows areas where we can. Some areas may get fully filled in if they're like a small leaf sort of area. And because we've got the sepia and we haven't done the Tuscan Red, we can kind of see the sepia, so we're probably not going to worry about black shadows so much in this one. We're just going to fill in all these little leaf spots where we can with our burnt ochre. And I'm just doing this one more zoomed out because of the fact that it's kind of going to be, because we're going to be swapping with so many different types of leaves and that, I don't want to accidentally cut something out. So that's why I've decided to leave this one more zoomed out than usual. But yeah, I'm really loving doing this lion at the moment. It's just so much fun. That's why I keep doing parts on it, because I can't get enough of doing it. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm loving these colours. And particularly being winter, it's like nice warm colours that makes me feel warm inside while I'm colouring it. Because they're such bright warm colours, and when it's gloomy and cold and freezing and raining and stuff outside, it just really warms you up working with some bright warm colours. It really does. Oh, I'm loving that. Oh, I'm loving it, loving it. I really love it. Like that color tone, it just really, it's kind of different from the lion's face, but at the same time, it really works for that sort of, the different shadows and different areas where things sit in the face and that, by slightly adjusting the colors of some of these different leaves. It's awesome. You can tell I'm really enjoying this lion currently. Well, I'd think you'd be able to anyway. But that's not to say that I won't be coming back to the other ones that I've started. I'll definitely still be coming back to them, so you don't have to worry that I'm not going to come back to them, because I'll definitely be happening. No matter what, even if it's doing this for a while and then going and working on one of those for a while, it'll still be happening. It will. And I think what we're going to do, rather than the mineral orange or the Tuscan red or whatever, I think what I'm actually going to do is bring in our sand, PC940, and I'm just going to colour that over all the rest of these colours, just because I'm thinking, like, I actually quite like the difference of having like some of these brown, more brown tones rather than the reddish brown in the image as well, like blending those into the main areas and stuff, as well as the, like, we're still going to have our reddish browns from our face in there, of course, but for some of these areas I just like the idea of having like more of like some brownish browns in some of the different areas, just for that different tonal textures. Because I'm quite liking having a bit of different tonal textures in that. From what I can see there, it's nice having a bit of differences from the face as well. And we're just blending this over every single colour again. Yeah, I'm really liking it. Really liking it. Wow. So I'll just quickly zoom in so that you can roughly see it, and if I can I'll try and leave it in there. I was going to leave it out just so that you could see more as I swap between different leaves, because I wasn't sure if I was going to stick in the one spot or not. But now that I'm doing this, I'm thinking I'll stick in the one spot, so I'll try and leave it a bit zoomed in so that you can sort of see more what I'm doing. So this is what I've been doing with the browns, as you can see. And yeah, you can see all the little areas. And I'm just now blending the sand over those two other colours. And we might even bring in that sand over our stem as well. And there's those little bits of the leaves. So I'm just going to pause it there for a minute because we're getting to the end of this time slot, and we're going to come in with some some of our other leaves along here. I'm just working out. There's one here that I can't actually see more of, or maybe it's one up here further up that I can see that it's like, I don't know. Either way, we'll work it. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying this, and I will be back in a minute. So just double checking it's focused. So hey everyone, we're back. So now what we're going to do is bring in, I was just trying to remember how we did these little sections here. I think it was our Sepia, Tuscan Red and Mineral Orange, if I remember correctly, for these ones. So because they're a lot more under the shoulder, we're going to sort of bring it down this way. Oh, my Lily's come over next to me. She just stopped for a scratch, so, well, she's scratching and she's decided to lay down beside me. Oh, I love it. There, we're not going to have much colour left in those spots, but yep, next we're going to come in with our Tuscan Red over those little areas. And it doesn't matter if they look quite dark because they are sort of under the chin anyway. And we've got the next door neighbours, yapping there again. And that's those two little areas under the chin done. Now what we want to do is decide another leaf to work on, which we're going to be working on a couple of these. There's a few different types of leaves here. I'm thinking I'm sort of going to work just in a small section for now, so like where I've done this leaf here, and I'm just going to sort of work up around here and in this sort of small section along here, I'm thinking. At least that's what I'm thinking. We're still working it out, but I'm thinking that. And so what we're going to do, I'm actually going to start with this leaf because there's a couple of similar leaves there, even though they're on slightly different angles. I'm going to start with those 3 leaves and then we'll move on to the next ones after that. So what we want to do, because of the fact that we do kind of have the stem here, even though we kind of have our light source coming this way, so really probably the sepia for this leaf would be on this side. So we're bringing it on the opposite side of the stem, and I'm not going to worry too much about, I'm just going to do little bits of light shadows, but that's not really going to hold much colour in that spot. So I'm just going to then, what I'm going to do to make sure that this stem sort of is a bit defined, I'm going to actually bring our sepia down and sort of along some of these areas. Some aren't going to hold much colour because they're so small, but we'll do our best to fit every colour in those spots. And we want to bring it down like this, just along those sections, because of where our light's coming from. We're trying to leave it open, exposed to that light sort of area. So I'm actually just going to trace it down the full stem for now, and then we'll bring in our other little areas along here as we go back up, and of course add in our little lighter sort of bits to allow it for easier blending. Then we're going to do the same for a couple of these other areas. Some of these are sort of smaller leaf sections, so they're not going to end up with as much colour, but we'll do the best we can. Making sure we do a bit of our lighter areas so that it blends in better. Try and get right along the stem, unlike I did then, because I was going a bit too far out for a minute there. So we still want to make sure we try and leave as much area as possible for the others, and I'm not doing that very well with this one. I want to still try and leave area for all the other colours that we sort of have with those sorts of leaves in the cheek. So we're going to basically follow the face colour tones for this leaf. At least as much as possible with the size of them. And then we got one more just over here. But this one's going to be slightly different because of the way it's sitting and the way the light source is falling. Like the other one, it was kind of flipped around and similar direction to the other, but it was kind of still similar side as that one. But this one we're going to want it slightly different just because of the fact that it is sitting on a different angle, and hence the light falls on it slightly differently. So we kind of want to bring the lighter areas from around this side up for this one. So just at the very edge tip there and down and up, trying not to take up too much space with that colour. And making sure you do have a bit of area there to allow for a nicer blending line as much as possible. Now what we want to do is bring in our Tuscan Red PC937. We want to bring that down over these sepia areas, trying to leave a bit of space in the stems for another colour. We're not going to worry too much about, well, we might just do a little bit of a light area, but we want to make sure that we leave it fairly light so you can tell there's another colour there, so that you can actually tell the bit of the difference from the blackish red background. And I just did a little bit of that out of the camera, so I'll just do that again here for this one. This one you'll see it's fairly taken up, so it's not going to be so easy to do with leaving a little bit of space for another colour on that side. And I'll just do it over on this one just to show you as well. Where is it? Here, down here. It's just trying to work out where it was on the screen, if it was on the screen or not. So some of these aren't going to have much space for the colour changes, so we just do the best we can to fit in what we can. And now we also need to do the same for this, because we're basically doing the same as what we did for the the cheeks with these ones if we can, if we have enough space to fit them. We are. Just trying to leave a little bit of space so that we can blend the colours in together better as well. Just shift the cup. I'm going to be trying not to sharpen this one too much just because of the fact this one was having a lot of lead breakage, as I think I said in one of the other videos. So, and I don't want to completely use it up till I actually receive the new pencil, because I'm going to need it to do these videos because I'm really in the mood for this line lately. Then we got one more little lot of leaves over here. We're at least going to try and fit in as many colours as we can in these areas anyway. Hopefully we'll be able to fit in as many as we did with the cheek areas. But the cheek areas did have some slightly more width than some of these, so I guess we'll see. Trying not to fill in too many areas like I just did there. I accidentally put a bit too much of the Tuscan Red too thick out there because it's not a fine point that I'm working with anymore. Now what we want to do is come in with our burnt ochre PC943, and pretty certain, is it the burnt ochre? Yeah, it's the burnt ochre before the mineral orange. Sorry, it's just trying to work it out there. This will probably finish our little stem area along here, but doesn't mean that we can't still put the other colours along there. So I'm just going to finish off these sort of stems with the burnt ochre, but I may still put the mineral orange and sand over there if we can get those in there. There's some areas where this is going to finish filling some of those areas, but we're still trying to leave a bit of our light shadow to allow for better blending kind of thing, as much as possible anyway. I'm kind of tempted to leave the black out of this one because I kind of like the difference between the... I was just moving it because I was needed to adjust the position to work on this one, but I think I might leave the black out of this this leafy part here just because I kind of like the difference in tones between this one with the dark sepia and that, and this one's sort of more the reddish colour. Like I could have the black in there for more shadows, but at the same time I feel like having the sepia behind the Tuscan Red is kind of really popping that out on top of there. So I feel like it's still kind of got the shadows, but leaving it without the black, I feel like that's going to give it a lot more differences in balances and textures and stuff like that, but still bring in the reds of the face. So there may be spots where we use the black, I don't know, but at the moment I'm really liking the differences between the couple of different colours. So I may sort of go with that sort of colour tone and avoid using the black. I'm not sure, we'll see, because we've kind of got the black behind on top of the Tuscan Red behind these bits as well. So kind of by not using the black too, I guess, allows that back area to sort of stand out more because it has the black in it, whereas these colours don't. So it's a possibility anyway. It's just something I'm looking at and thinking because I really do like the way it's looking, and I'm thinking, well, if I like the way it looks, I might as well sort of leave it that way, and then we don't require a second layer on top. Like, the second layer does work and does look good, I will admit, and I enjoy doing it, but it's not always necessary, I guess you could say, if you get that good texture and the way you like it at the beginning, and you decide that you don't necessarily want to add more shadows in top after you do it, then yeah, you don't always necessarily have to do the 2 layers if it's looking good with 1 layer, I feel. Now what we're going to do, we're actually going to come in with our Mineral Orange PC1033, and I'm not going to be sharpening this one too much either because of lead breakage stopping me from being able to sharpen it a lot, also because I've got to wait till I get the new orange and I don't want to run out before then in case I want to do more parts of this, because I've used up so much Mineral Orange and Tuscan Red and stuff doing this line, but I love it. Now we're going to bring in our Mineral Orange. We're also going to bring that just over these stems just to bring more depth out with these reddish stems. We're not bringing it over the sort of the browner stems. We're not, just the reddish stems. We want to bring that over. Some of these spots we're not going to actually fit in our sand, which is kind of like grr, because there's so little space left. Like, you can still tell there's the light shadows there, but yeah, it's just the amount of space and things as to if you're actually able to fit the sand colour in or not. So I think I'm not going to worry too much about the sand in these ones, just because of the fact that there's not really a lot of space left and not a lot of space to fit it. So I'm just going to finish these ones off with the mineral orange. Could probably fit some of the sand in this one, but at the same time that would kind of look odd matched with the others because of the fact that the others weren't able to fit it. So I'm just going to do the mineral orange fully, finishing this one too. And I'm not going to worry about doing a second layer and doing the black and that on there either. I'm going to leave those ones there as they are, because I quite like the difference in the textures between the different colours. So yeah, I'm going to pause here for a minute again, just because we're getting to close to the 29 minutes. And yeah, I will be back shortly. So hey everyone, we're back. So we're going to continue with some of the next parts. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking there's roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sort of similar parts that we can do next that are similar. So I'm just trying to roughly do a section for this part, and then we can continue in sections. We'll see depending on time. I thought for a minute there I hadn't actually recorded the last bit of me doing these ones, but thankfully I had, so that was like, oh, thank goodness for that, because I almost had a heart attack when I thought I hadn't recorded for a minute there because I was looking at the time wrong. So yeah, so we're going to come back in again with our Sepia PC948. And what we want to do, because of where the shadows fall, we're going to bring in our sepia on this side, but we're also going to bring it right over sort of this far side. And we want to make sure that we add a little bit of our light spots for blending. This one, because it's just a solo one without the line down the middle, we're just going to bring it over this side and sort of down along the bottom here. And we just want to bring in our light sort of shadow areas there too. Here, I'm actually going to bring it down this side because it's a double one around to the bottom, and then a bit of light shadow. And this side, I think I'm actually just going to bring it down at the very bottom bit there. I'm just looking at the shadow bits, but where the light would be coming from, but at the same time, like, the light is coming from this direction, so I'm just going to bring, because it's under the chin there, I'm actually going to bring the shadow right up and bring it down here, and then bit out at the bottom here, and then our sort of light area for blending easier. And then I'm going to do the same over this side just because it is right under the chin. And the same for this one, which is a single sort of area, but we're also going to bring it up a bit at the bottom here. And a bit of our light area. And then these little areas in here too. Probably don't necessarily need to bring it all the way up there, but I'm going to, just because, like, I know the light sources are coming down from this way, but I'm just sort of, I guess I just felt like I wanted a bit of shadows just up in that sort of spot there, pretty much, and then to bring it down so you do sort of have a bit of depth between each of those little sections. Next we're going to bring in our Tuscan Red PC937, and we probably will bring in some black with these ones. I guess I'll see how it goes, but at the moment I'm sort of thinking about bringing in some black, but we'll just see how it goes once they're done as to if we do so or not. And then just making sure you remember your little light sort of shading to allow it to blend in easier / better as well. If you've done a little bit too much black, the sepia in some areas, you can just sort of leave it when you do your light shadows and just it'll blend in as you colour more layers in. So we're basically just following all those shadow areas now and adding in our Tuscan Red over those spots. And I think I may add some black into these little ones just because, well, just because I feel that these ones being slightly bigger and being able to fit more of the colours, I think the black would work well in these ones and give it a bit of that different colour depth again. A little bit of light tones. Next is our burnt ochre PC943, and this one, like, we're still going to add our other colours into this one as well. And whoops, try not to lift up the edge of the page like I just did. I pushed it back down with the pencil then, but that one's kind of run out of space, so it's not going to have every single colour in it, but that's the case for some areas. But yeah, try not to lift up the page when you're colouring it at the very edge like I just did, but if you get lucky, you won't rip it up and you'll be able to push it back down like I did as well. So these ones here aren't going to fit too many more colours either. But yeah, I think I will add the black into these ones just to make them slightly different from these little leaves here, so that it's not all just blending into each other with some of the colours. Next, hang on, whoops, I missed a spot. Doesn't matter. Now, it's the next colour. So next colour is going to be our Mineral Orange PC1033. And we want to bring that in to these areas, leaving a bit of shadow if you can to allow for blending in our final colour once we get to it. This one's actually very hard to sort of coordinate because it's getting quite flat. But I'm reluctant to sharpen it in case it does a lot of snapping again, which basically wasted a whole heap of the pencil with all the snapping that's happened in it. And I don't want to do that when I don't have a replacement currently. We may just fit some sand in that one. And same for this one, we may just fit some sand in there, which will be great. And we're still going to bring the Mineral Orange into this one even though it's no more room. Next we're going to bring in our sand PC940, and we just want to bring that over all these colours. I'm almost lifting up that paper edge as I hit it again, trying to colour. I'm also trying not to bubble up the paper and lift the colour off as I do it, because that's sometimes possible as well. And some paper tooth seems to be more susceptible to that than others, like with, particularly if they've got a fault. Like I think some of the pages might have some fault areas in that Nicholas F. Trendrita book, because I've had it happen in a few of the different images there. So yeah, I think even though the paper can be good, it can come with faults sometimes, which can cause paper bubbles and pencil colour to cause it to lift off and that as well. But it can also be like the way, how much burnishing and stuff and how much colour you place on, and if that burnishes the paper or not, and all of that. And I'm thinking I may leave the black out of these ones too, just because I'm liking having that slight difference in the face and the mane. I was thinking of adding the black, but now I'm thinking I'm going to leave it out, but because it still is a bit different to these ones anyway. But yeah, I reckon that like, I love the Nicholas F. Trendrita Serene book, I really do. But I do think it must have some faults or something in it, because it's only these teeny tiny small spots of areas, and all of a sudden, like, I won't have put many layers on, but all of a sudden the paper will just start lifting off. So that's what makes me think there's some faults with, I guess, that book. But yes, that's that little spot there. So we've got a couple more I'm just going to do in this spot, probably this one and this one up here, and then these couple. And then I'll probably leave it at that section for today. I'll see, depending on how much time. But yeah, I'm just going to pause for a minute whilst I think what I'm going to do with these couple of little areas, and then I will be back. So yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm certain that some of the Serene pages have some faults because I don't even put much in the way of colour layers on it like I do here. I might put one layer and then a second layer, and all of a sudden the paper starts lifting off in a little spot. So that just makes me think there's a fault in the paper when it does that, because I have done it with a lot more layers, which makes sense because I've probably burnished it then and then caused it to not accept the layers. But when that happens, when there's not many layers, it makes me think, well, there could be a bit of a fault in the paper as well. But I still love that book and love the images, so I'm still going to use it either way. But it is sort of frustrating when the paper has some faults. But yeah, I'll be back shortly, and I'm just going to work out if I'm going to do a couple of these, like more these darker brown sort of tones. I'm thinking possibly for 2 of these, and then these ones I'm thinking more the orangish tones possibly. I'm just going to go away and think for a minute on that, and I will be back. So hey everyone, we're back. So I've been thinking about this, and I'm still tossing up with these 2. I may not get these 2 done depending on time. We'll just see how it goes. But with these 2, I've decided I sort of want more of these sort of the darker brown / colours for these 2. So pretty much what we're going to do, because the light source is coming from this way but our veins are coming down this way, I think I'm going to basically like still have some shadows on this side of it, but we're pretty much going to, and we're going to need to bring a bit of a light source down this side too. Pretty much as you see, I've just outlined the bottom there because that would be where the shadow would be, but we're pretty much going to just bring these ones if I don't do too thick a line, up along here. And I'm doing a really thick line there for some reason. I wasn't trying to, it just came out really thick. So I'm just going to shift the position to somewhere a bit more comfy to do it, because I think that might be why I'm doing the thicker line than I want to. I'm not totally sure, but it's a possibility. Could also be the fact, yeah, it was that. Oh, good. It was the fact that it was just an awkward position, and so I was doing it awkwardly. And we just want to bring like our lines down here like this with a bit of our light on the top. See, like that was a bit awkward there, so I went a bit funny with the line. So yeah, just try and have it in a spot that works for you anyway. And then we're going to do the same with this one here, because I think I want like a bit of a darker brown here, and then because we've got some of our reddish sort of colours up here, I figure that'll work well in that spot, sort of sectioning it out a bit, because we've got brown down here, brown here, and then if we've got brown here, a bit of brown here, and some brown here, then it evens it out with the reds. So we're going to bring the brown down on the upper side. If you're looking at it this direction, you want it on this side of the leaf. Which I'm just going to do it this way because it's going to be a little less awkward for me to do it. And then we want to make sure that we bring a little bit of light source down along here too, which I can probably do that this way because It still is awkward, so. And then for this part, because our light source is coming down here, again we sort of want our brown on this sort of bottom bit here, so. I'm just going to shift the position again. Now what we want to do is bring in our burnt ochre PC943. We want to bring that sort of over where those shadow sort of spots are and the shading. I'm just going to do the light sort of bits after we get this bit done. Whoops. Trying not to fully cover the areas that you don't want to, like I just did. Fortunately we can kind of, well, it'll kind of fill in and cover it a bit with our mistakes as we colour more areas. And here we also want our brown over our shadow areas. I think I'm just going to bring a bit of brown up that side there too, because I want to. So I think that'll make it look even better on that side. Now we want to bring in our sand, PC940. We want to bring that in on these areas. I was thinking of doing a fourth colour, but I think that's going to sort of not work so well with this smaller area. So we're probably going to leave that bit out, and we're just gonna fill in all over these areas with our sand. Same for this area up the top here. I'm going to fill that all over with our sand. And that is those two areas. And I think what I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to leave it at that. I'll bring back these last two. Just looking at the time, I'll see. I may have time to fit that in, but I may leave this one here for next time just because we've got another one right here and we're sort of getting low on time, so I'll see how that goes. But I'll at least do this one quickly now. So we're going to want our Sepia PC948. We're going to want to bring that one on this sort of bottom area where the angle is again. And at this very bottom part we want to bring it flat along the bottom of the page. Just should bring that out so that I don't get it on the page behind, which I think I've gotten a little bit on. And we want a little bit of a light source or lighter area up on it to allow for easier blending. Next we want our Tuscan Red PC937. We want to bring that over the sepia colours and bring a bit of our lighter area up into these other spots. Then it's our burnt ochre PC943. We want to bring that up over all the Tuscan Red areas and leaving a bit of our area for our light source. Next is our mineral orange PC1033. And I'm going to try and leave a little area up the top there for our sand if I can. Except for this bottom one that's going to be completely filled in now because it didn't have as much room. And then what we want to do is bring in our sand PC940. And we just want to bring that over all these colours. There's not much space for it, but I just want to bring it over just to add that colour into there. Anyway. And I just hooked the edge of the page again, didn't I? Yeah, oh, like that. Try and smooth it out, only to cause it to dint and look worse. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that though, and this part I will bring back next time because I've got another one right here and I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time to do both, and I'm not quite sure what colours I want to do for those yet. I'm thinking like these orangish red colours, but I haven't fully decided exactly how I'm going to do it yet. So I'm going to actually leave it at that for this part, and I'll zoom out quickly. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that for this part, and I hope, oops, just double check it's focused. I hope you enjoyed this part. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe and comment, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.